The Medical Courier Connection Podcast is brought to you by Key Software Systems. We believe that every delivery has a story, and it starts with you. That's why we built an ecosystem uniting accounting, delivery, tracking and shipping, reporting, and more to not only bring full delivery transparency to your customers, but to reduce errors and inefficiencies that stand in the way of over-delivering on customer expectations. We'll drive the heavy lifting that keeps your business innovative with the latest technology so that you can focus on building connections with your customers. This podcast is also brought to you by Risk Strategies. In a world full of risk, your insurance broker should understand the unique challenges you face in business and in life. We specialize in providing risk management, consulting and insurance solutions designed to meet the specific needs of businesses and individuals. With deep knowledge spanning across more than 30 industries, we help protect what matters most with trusted advice, tailored solutions, and a proactive, consultative approach. Welcome to CLDA Final Mile Forum 2026.
Hey everybody, Ken with Integrity Medical Courier Training.
We are providing on-site training in Roseville, Minnesota.
A man's digits turn blue due to too much cannabis use. A woman in Melbourne, Australia dies after being scratched by Minty, her cat. Stole the hearse and dumped the body on the side of the road, still strapped to the gurney, and then continued on with their joyride. A dog had to be put down after it was crushed by a package thrown over a garden fence, its owners claim. So, stay compliant, my friends. Get all your medical courier training needs from us at www.integritydelivers.com. All right, we are at the 2026 CLDA Final Mile Forum convention in, where are we, Chris?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, you guys. We're in Austin, Texas. This is great. We set up a booth. We've got our new booth designed. Chris will be adding videos in this podcast. We've done a series of interviews with courier companies and supporters of ours and affiliates, software companies and insurance companies. And this is a real special podcast. Pretty cool because, guys, we want you to understand the value of attending these type of conventions. And yes, it is a spend. And yes, it is a lift, a huge lift and a huge spend. But the return is sometimes immeasurable in the sense that you're building relationships, you're getting your name out there, you're getting, you're sometimes getting work. You're actually going to meet people and network with people and get jobs as a medical courier. So it's really important that you pay attention to the conferences and conventions that are out there and be a part of it. If you're sitting at home and you're not engaging, you're missing out. So again, we're just here, like I said, we have a meeting with several people, lots of events, some parties sprinkled in there and some networking. And so it's been great. But guys, we're going to go ahead and roll the tape and enjoy the interviews, and we'll close up at the end. All right, so we are here at the CLDA Final Mile Forum in Austin, Texas, and we're talking with Chris Marchetti. Chris, we've been with you, we've been training your drivers for a while, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about what Excel does and how long you've been doing it. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your company, that'd be great.
Sure. So we market ourselves as a high-touch, time-critical delivery and warehousing service. We kind of have three chunks of our work. We have on-demand work, which is as needed, a lot of work in and out of the airports. We have dedicated, which we have drivers dedicated to specific accounts. And we do some very specialized work in the data centers because we're in a data center market. And so we do some specialized work there. I've been doing this 40 years this year. And we've been using you guys to train our people because it's a great way to go. So it's been very helpful to have you guys help train our people.
Awesome. So how many drivers are you guys currently running?
We have about 250 drivers right now. Yeah.
In how many states?
Well, we run from Baltimore to D.C. to Richmond, so we get up to Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. We get down to the Carolinas. We go where the customer's willing to pay us to drive. That's what we always said. If you'll pay us, we'll go.
Yeah, anything for a price. That's absolutely right. I've owned and sold two companies in the past, two courier companies, and I get it. I mean, so tell me how the training has helped either in your sales or just compliance or in the culture of your company. How has training with integrity helped you over the years?
Well, it's important to be able to have that opportunity to. We can tell the customers that, look, you have drivers that are trained in the handling of critical medical shipments, temperature control, and that's a great selling tool for us. Because we have a customer who's in the lab business, and we talked about the business and said, we don't need drivers, we need couriers. So we need people that have a little bit more, they have to be able to, is that a frozen specimen, is it a refrigerated specimen? What happens if they have a spill? How do they handle things like that? And your organization helps train our people, also not just our drivers, but also internally on how to best do things and how to handle things properly. So it's been great for us. It's been big help. It really helps a lot. Helps us grow. You've helped us grow our business, Ken. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Chris. We've appreciated our relationship. Last year we did a virtual job fair with Ryan.
Yes.
And we need to do another one of those soon.
We do. That was a cool idea, because for recruiting and retention of the drivers is never ending. We have a whole handful of our staff that's all they're doing. They're recruiting, and we get all kinds of responses. And sometimes I think there's been the people out there that are like the medical, what do they call them, influencer drivers. And when one of those things drops, we get like a bunch of applications for people who said, oh, we want to be medical couriers. The challenge is those influencers don't necessarily paint the true, proper picture of what it's like and how they can be successful.
Yeah. So you are exactly right. So on TikTok and all the other social media streams, you'll have people that'll tell couriers you can make $5,000 a month. Take my course and I'll show you how. And it's kind of a game that they play. And I mean, $5,000 a week would be nice. Some of these people are saying $5,000 to $7,000 a week in income, and that's pretty lofty.
Yeah, it is.
That's the exception, not the rule. So, but I go online quite a bit, and we have a lot of followers online as well. We try and paint a realistic picture. I tell drivers, count the cost. Count the cost. My first courier company, I started when I was a lab employee, and I was promised a certain amount of volume from a lab that I worked for, and that didn't materialize. I had to cash in my 401k to pay payroll the first time. So people don't always think about the unseen factors, Hurricane Katrina and all these other things. But what's been the biggest challenge, or can you think of a story where the training helped you either get a client or, the compliance helped you resolve an issue?
Let me think about that. I think in general, because we focus on, part of our focus is on medical, what you bring to us and bring to our drivers is a selling point for us. I don't know, in terms of specifically like where there was something, that's a hard one for me to find because, it's like your culture of your company, your culture of your business, stuff has to be in there. It's not just, hey, train this person and come and go or whatever. I think also the fact that something we try to do with our drivers is explain to them what you said is like you're your own little courier company. So you need to understand, we try to get them to understand that their own business and the benefits of, because guess what, the reality is with the training you give them, it's not just for us. If they leave us, they can go to another customer and they have that training. So it's added value for the drivers. So, I can't emphasize, it's a great value and, so.
Well, hey, listen, I thank you for taking time out of your busy day. We're fixing to get lunch here hopefully soon. I'm hungry, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate Excel. You guys have been with us for a minute, for quite a while, and the culture, the focus on patient care is clearly there, and that's what I appreciate the most about you guys.
Right. Well, we appreciate you, and it helps us reinforce with our people that what we're doing is very important, and lives are counting on what we do and doing it the right way. So it is very important. We're saving lives every day by doing this stuff. We're making lives better for people. So, Ken, thank you for.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Chris. All right, so we are here at the 2026 CLDA Final Mile Forum. I am talking with Carly Fliesher. Carly, you're with Open Force, and we've had a relationship with Open Force for several years. Do you mind talking a little bit about what Open Force does and what you do at Open Force?
Sure. Yeah. So Open Force is sorry, I'll just take that. Is a third-party administrative company, and how you look at it is kind of like the back office support for independent contractors. So we do the onboarding, the enrolling, we provide insurance options, and we do the payroll, all from a compliant mindset to make sure that people who are running ICs are compliant, and if they get pulled into question, have the proof to prove that they are truly independent contractors. Okay. And then my role is I'm a senior VP of enterprise sales and partnerships. So I find partners like you, incredible guys, to come and bring perks to the ICs on our platform through our marketplace, but also insurance partners, TMS logistics partners. We partner with all those to integrate with them as well.
Okay. Great. So we have the Medical Courier Connection is another company that we run. We have right now about 2,000 independent contractor members. And how would something does Open Force work strictly with courier companies who have contractors, or what about the individual contractor that's out there and doesn't have those benefits? Would that work for them as well?
So technically they would have to be a company to work with us. So like if you're a master, you have a business, you have subs, you can come onto our platform, right, as your business. We do have a marketplace that they can get access to that we could charge separately for, right? But utilizing the onboarding, enrollments, and insurance pieces itself, they have to have a company to go through. So they'd have to partner with like a Ryder of the world or a Relay Express, right? And then be on their platform and come on to our platform because the career.
So what about master contractors that have multiple contractors under them? Assuming the master contractor is a business, would that qualify? Would that work?
Yes, that would work. Yes, they have to have a legitimate business, right, to sign the contract. They have to have an IC agreement with them to do it, to prove their independence, and that would qualify. So a master would work for us. Yes, correct.
How many independent contractors do you guys manage every year?
Oh, wow. So we have an active platform of around 1.5 million users. That's everybody. Yeah. As paying like live active on a given basis, we're around the 300,000 K mark.
Okay.
Yeah, for active, I would say. But platform users, around 1.5 million.
Okay. And so, what do you think the value is of offering your members? I would say your clients the option of medical courier training. How has that kind of enhanced what you guys do? Or what are your thoughts on that as far as added value?
One, I look at us as leaders in this space, right? And partnering with people like you who are also leaders in this makes, one, subject matter experts. It just makes us look better overall. But two, providing access like things like these that drivers don't know where to get, and now they have a tool to utilize it, I think is a really big value add as well. But I think with knowing a lot of people that come on board for ICs, sometimes they're new and they don't know what to do or where to go or the education. And so partnering with you guys to go through and do that just helps us say, hey, look, this is the reason why ICs want to choose a client to come on board with us. And it creates more stickiness with us in that vein.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about your book?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah? All right, let's switch gears for a second. Please, talk about your book.
So I wrote a book, it's about trauma, but I was in the Vegas shooting back in 2016. And I wrote a book about it, what all my experiences, what happened to me that night, and then about some other traumas, but how I was in the workplace before that trauma, then who I was and how I transformed after that trauma, and giving companies the ability to have roadmaps of how to bring people out of trauma, or if they're going through something, to performance manage them in versus performance managing them out. And so I give a lot of different advice on what to do, how to set your company up for success, things that you can implement, even down to you do earthquake drills in California. What kind of active shooter drills can you do for your workplace, and how often do you do them? Things like that.
So for businesses and courier companies, I mean, just businesses in general, or in relationships, families, are there things that you look for someone that's going through trauma? Is it obvious, or is it so repressed that it's not something you would necessarily pick up on?
Well, yeah, so it's both. So there's different forms of trauma, right? And maybe there's trauma that you've been going through over time and you don't know that it's going to start to come up over time. So for me, it's more about, people's changing in the workplace. So if they were, they're a top candidate, right, or they're a top employee, and then all of a sudden one day they're not doing what they were doing. They're starting to show up late to meetings. It's kind of a behavior change that you notice in the employee, and you go up to them, and a lot of people say the door's open, but a lot of times the door really isn't open, right? So it's having like that open door policy to say something like, starting the conversation like, I noticed, hey, you've been coming in late, you used to be on time, something going on at home. Or it's just kind of like, or if you were hitting your goals consistently, right? And then all of a sudden you're missing them now consistently. So it's like you're pointing to the facts, really, but at the end of the day, it's kind of when you notice that and then how to approach it and what's going on in there. And so it's like, hey, someone's dog might be sick, and that can be traumatic for them, right?
Right.
And now it's then working with that employee to adjust things to make sure that they can get back to where they need to be, whether that's they need to maybe take some time off. But a lot of people don't know what they have that they can do that, right? So, or it's adjusting maybe their work schedule so they can go to the doctor in the morning before they come in the afternoon. So it's just working with your team members and setting them up for success as well as you. But, yeah.
Yeah. So do you? I'm sorry. There's been a lot of distractions.
No, I know.
Did you mention that you actually consult with people privately, companies privately, on how to identify someone that's going through trauma and how to help them through it?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so I do have my own side company with my book and everything, and so I've even Open Force was great. They brought me in separately of what I do. I ran sessions. We ran little simulations of, hey, here's the type of, this is what's going on, and then we run through what kind of trauma is showing up here. What can you do for this person to help them, given that this is the scenario that's happening? So we ran I think 7 different scenarios, and we had team members meet up, kind of role play, so that they could see what was showing up and how maybe they could handle the situation better. And we actually used a few of the examples were real examples from some of the past, so it was good to see how some people would handle it for that. But yeah, and then I also run through the types of traumas there are, the types of when you're going through trauma, what's showing up, the freeze, fronds, flight, fight type of stuff when you're going through it, and so we run through that and kind of why and what might happen when different traumas are showing up, because there's acute trauma, and then there's over time, where if someone's been abused over time, versus instant trauma that a car accident. So we go through the different types and how to kind of manage that type of stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely needed. I mean, we all need to be able to identify someone that's really going through something. And then the keynote speaker here was talking about building relationships and seeing people, right? And so a lot of times we don't want to be confronted with someone who's going through something because we want to protect our own mental health, or we want to maintain our own space, but we see someone going through something, and rather than instinctively reach out, we recoil, we pull back, and that's not good. So what's the name of your book again, and where can people find it?
Thank you. Yes, it's called The 13th Floor. It's available on Amazon, online at Walmart, online at Target, and online at Barnes & Nobles. But Amazon's the easiest, quickest way to get it. But again, The 13th Floor.
Carly, thanks for sharing about that. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And again, Open Force, we love working with you guys, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are back at the CLDA Final Mile Forum here in Austin, Texas. It's been a great event so far, and we've done some interviews so far with some other people, but I wanted to talk to somebody special. Jesse Soto has been, he took our course a while back, and he's a member of the Courier Business Academy as well. We're going to be speaking there in about a week down in Houston, but I wanted to talk and let you tell a little bit about your story. How did you get started in the courier industry, and what are you doing now?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Ken. So I came from the insurance industry. So I do have a background. I've been in the insurance industry since 2010. I was laid off from one of the companies a couple years ago, and a post from Instagram came up with Dayron and Courier Business Academy. So you think, oh, you don't believe into these things. I've done a few of those, and they've never panned out, but this one has. Never thought I would be in the logistics industry. Even though I was driving daily for my accounts, and technically servicing the agents in the industry, but got in with Dayron in the Courier Business Academy, and pretty much he's showed me the roadmap of what to do, where to go for medical training, where we ran into you. And then I did my first training course with you online, and you actually did it. And it was you said it was 4 hours, but it was done in 3.5, which you said. So that was great. But it was a lot of information. And coming from that, from being new, it's like, I was like, holy moly, like there's a lot of things going on here. We got literally like chemotherapy, nuclear stuff that, we didn't touch on, but it was more or less of how the industry is and what we need to do and to be successful and to be careful with certain things. So that's what we took your course, and then I came up for renewal last year, and I called you and I was like, hey, do we need to renew this? Because I sent my old certificate and they said it's expired. And I was like, and you said yes, so that was great. So it's been a whole 180 technically, from being a salesperson to now doing sales and trying to get my own business, whether it's in medical field, or the medical courier field, or the regular just gig field. So I do a lot of big and bulky for construction companies, for like the big courier drivers, dispatch, and so forth like that. So I got a 16-foot box truck, and I also have my regular Honda Accord that we do deliveries for.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. So you were an insurance agent, and so what was the process of starting your business? You said you took a course with Dayron, and did he give you the building blocks of how to start your business, or you're in insurance, so it's like, just set up my LLC and get started. What did that look like? And then how did you start reaching out to your first clients? What was that like?
Ooh, that's a great question. So him showing the roadmap of start from A to Z, like I said, starting the LLC, what to do, where to go. The insurance part was easy for me because I sold commercial trucking insurance, so I understood that. So that was an easier thing that I didn't have to go look for. And then starting with the clients is he gave us a list of where to go, who to sign up with, how to sign up with them as drivers. Certain companies, and most of them were East Coast. So I'm in California. So which makes it a lot harder for me, is I'm 3 hours behind daily, right? So when they wake up and start work at 6, I'm starting work at 3 in the morning. And starting the LLC, just getting all the DOT number, the medical training, just any training and everything I needed in there, I had to get. Like I said, insurance was one of the ones that I did it. So that's how it was.
What have been some of your challenges in starting your own business, and what are some things that you've overcome?
The challenge is being in California. That's the biggest challenge.
Talk about that.
It's because there's an AB5 rule. If you guys Google that, and it's more money laundering and so forth, but which I completely understand from the insurance industry. They don't like a lot of 1099 contractors, so that's something I had to overcome, and I'm still trying to overcome that in helping so many people in the industry in California to get over. I get calls all the time through the CBA, and they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, I haven't yet. So, and we're up in Northern California, so for in Sacramento area. And coming from the Bay Area, like I take some of these jobs and go to the Bay Area, and there's a bunch down there. So a lot of it is just gig work for me, and I do really, really well with that. So it's just I get in and get out, deliver A to B. And so forth, but that's just the biggest struggle. Now in sales of that, talking to people, coming to these conferences really, really help. LinkedIn, you got to make yourself a presence out there, and even this year coming here, now everyone's like, oh, hey Jesse, so just being in someone's face a lot and asking questions, and that's the biggest thing is ask questions, because I didn't know diddly squat about the industry.
Right.
And it's like, hey, like you got to figure out where you are starting and where you want to go and how do you get there. It's just not one big leap and you're like a professional delivery driver anymore and you're making buku bucks. Like you got to get there. So little building blocks and building steps, meeting and networking. Networking is the biggest thing. So you have to network. That's the biggest thing, the biggest goal. You can ask yourself this: do you think if you had something to sell, this pen or something, do you think you can just walk up to anybody and sell it? Like you got to know how to sell something, right? Or make them believe you that this is a good pen to use, so forth.
No, you're right. So when I go live sometimes on TikTok and Instagram or whatever, if I start talking about sales, I'll watch the people come into my room and they'll bolt. I mean, I can have 60 people come through there in just a couple of minutes. Medical couriers hate talking about sales. But the fact of the matter is that if you're going to be a medical courier, you are in sales by default. It's not whether you want to be in sales. You have to be, because if you're not selling your services, then you're stagnant. Right. You've got to get out there and you've got to approach people and tell your story and convince them that they really need your services, and that's sales, right?
Right, yeah.
How have you overcome that? I mean, so as your approach, I mean, how do you cold call? Do you research? Do you just go knock on doors? What's your approach?
I do them all. I do them all.
Yeah.
You have to, because if you cold call, you got to get through the gatekeeper. Yeah. Most of the time, they're not going to let you in. So then, if you're around the area, which is I'm around a lot of the businesses on the West Coast, and I just go knock, or I'll find a way to get a hold of them. Like there's some ways that I know that I can go around, the gatekeeper and find them. LinkedIn is my biggest asset, right?
Nice.
And so I pay the big price for that, but I get access to a lot of the bigwigs that are here at this conference, which is good. And then I get to see them face to face in person, and then that makes my sales a little easier, right? Because now they can see me, put a face to the name, they can see what I'm looking at, like how my demeanor is, how my presence is with them, and go from there. And that's how they make their decision. So it makes it a little easier this way. So being out of sight, out of mind, it's not going to get you anywhere. When I used to sell things and I'd go into these offices, I'm like, hey, where did those knickknacks go that I gave you? Why are they not on the table, but that one is? Like, so I would take that one off and put another one on there. So those bold. Are just, I'm very bold. And I'm a straightforward person. So it's like, hey, this is what I can do. And then, another question is to them, what happens if that guy's sick? What are you going to do? Like, that's where I come in. So then, then it goes your sales pitch, boom.
Yeah.
And then you hit them that way.
So I don't know if you were at the keynote speaker. I think you were. Mm-hmm. He was talking a lot about relationships, the importance of relationships. And when it's medically related, first of all, how much medical do you do?
Not much. I'm with Airspace right now. That's the only medical that I've done. So that's where I needed to get the medical training from you. And then they've given me the, I believe it's, I don't even know which one it is. I forgot on top of my head. It's the TSA that they approved for us to do that. So.
Okay, so with medical, as you remember from our course, it's all about patient care. At the end of every delivery, I mean, if you're delivering auto parts or other items, those items can be replaced. When it comes down to patient care, the blood that you're delivering, the medications that you're delivering, the whole blood for American Red Cross or whatever it is, there's a patient at the end of every delivery. But as a courier who's transporting items, whatever it is, you're building relationships. Yep. Every person that you meet with, there's a possible relationship there, a continued relationship. Absolutely. And so I'm learning a little bit more about the importance of building relationships and long-term relationships. How many times can you say relationship in a sentence? But there you go. Yeah. I probably violated some grammatical rule, but it really is important. And so I appreciate you taking time to come on. Any last thoughts about just the courier industry? I mean, has it been a really smooth sailing or any bumps along the way getting started?
The bumps came in the beginning, of course, but it's smooth sailing. Once you get like the relationships, once you start seeing people over and over and over and you start talking to them, the relationship's going to grow from there, just like any type of relationship, a friendship, a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife relationship. That's the biggest thing, just those key relationships. How are you going to help someone if you don't, especially with the medical stuff? I like that because it's urgent and it's rush, and and I know I can get things done right away. So anybody out there that wants a new courier in Sacramento, give Pack Pros a call and speak with me.
What's your number?
408-836-2607. My name is Jesse Soto. I'm the president and CEO of Pack Pros. So just getting that out there with the courier, like I like it. I like that industry. I've delivered some human tissue. Like I was like, holy crap, this is cool. Of course, there's HIPAA laws, so I can't take pictures of the names, but on the side of the box I can because it just says human tissue and so forth. I sent it to my wife, and I was like, look what I'm taking to the airport, and that was pretty cool. So that's interesting when you deliver stuff to the airport as well. Like, you did a service, and like you mentioned earlier, when it gets to the end result, to the patient, that you possibly could save them. That's cool. I'm waiting to deliver some organs and hearts and so forth. That'll be cool.
Jesse, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on. This guy's got the personality. Let me tell you something. When it comes to sales, you have to have the gift of gab and the ability to tell your story, and you got to be personable. Jesse, you're personable. You got a personality. I think you're going to go places. Awesome. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Best luck, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye. Hey, everybody. It's Ken with Integrity Medical Courier Training again. We are at the Final Mile Forum, CLDA Final Mile Forum here in Austin, Texas. It's been a great event so far, and we just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk with some people that have supported us for literally for years. Key Software Systems has been a supporter of Integrity Medical Courier Training and the Medical Courier Connection for quite a while. They also supported our Medical Transportation Summit in 2013, 14, and 15, and currently you're also a supporter of ours as well. So I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about what Key Software does for those of you who don't know, and then we'll talk a little bit more about, I want to talk just briefly about Driver Lens. I want to whet people's appetite about that, but Dave Fajerman, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about the company and your position and how long you've been with the company and what you guys do.
Sure, thanks. So I've been with the company about 10 years now. The company, Key Software Systems, has been around 25 years. I started on the implementation and training side of things and then moved over to business development about 5 years ago. So the company name is Key Software. Our main product is Accelerator and Mobile Tech. Accelerator is a all-in-one delivery optimization platform that works with carriers from mom and pop in the garage all the way up to national networks, doing medical, labs, hospitals, specimen deliveries, all the way to big and bulky furniture and oil rig parts in Texas. So it's extremely customizable.
So what exactly does your software do as far as tracking and visibility, generating reports, leading to payment? I mean, everything. What does it do?
Yeah, all of the above. So from order creation through manual entry, online portals, APIs, EDIs, dispatching to drivers, tracking those drivers, optimizing those drivers' routes. After that, when they're completed, run billing, send out invoices, send out driver pay, and then take in payments as well. We have integrations with QuickBooks, so if that wants to be the system of record, so be it. But we really pride ourselves on being able to consolidate a lot of companies' operations. They might be using a software for route optimization, another software for invoicing, another software for a client portal. And we really try to focus on consolidating that into one database, less manual entry, double entry, less chance for human error, copying and pasting into multiple softwares, and that really keeps our customers efficient and reduces the chance of human error.
So it's not just for large multi-million-dollar courier companies. Can a new courier startup, let's say a new courier startup gets their first hospital client, and that client wants them to provide tracking and visibility of specimens. I mean, is this something that's affordable for smaller courier companies as well?
Definitely. A large portion of our new customers are these people that, they get good news back from the hospital chain or the lab system and says, all right, I need you to start next month. And I need a software. I need to be able to track my drivers. I need to be able to scan these high-value specimens or samples, and we need a software to do it. So we are completely scalable. Owner operators. The software works for one user, one driver, and then as you grow, the system grows with you.
So tracking and visibility, full integration. Do you guys? You said, I think you mentioned API. What's the term about integration? Like a hospital says, can I tap into that app, and can I pull my own reports, or can I see where the driver is? Is that what API is?
Correct. API is what you make it, really. We just make the data available to your integration partners, and they can come in and take what they want, really. So if you want to enable them to be able to track your drivers, sure, they can track your drivers when those drivers are interacting with their orders. You don't want them seeing everything.
Yeah.
But the point is to make the data accessible to your partners. And customize it. One customer might want to see something, another one doesn't. As long as you have it customizable, that's all you can ask for.
You mentioned a courier company getting the good news that they got a new hospital client, and they have to implement or have something in place within a few weeks. How complicated is it for a new courier company startup to get their minds around using your system?
So learning curve is not difficult. We have a time-tested onboarding process that we use for all new customers. A new customer gets assigned a member of our support team that's an expert on implementation. From the day you sign on to the day you're ready to go live, they are your dedicated one-on-one trainer. They set up the system to exactly your business model. And on average, we like to say people can do it in as little as 2 weeks up to 2 months if it's more complicated, but we make it work for whatever you need.
All right, let's pivot a little bit. So you guys have been focused on medical for quite a while. What do you see as the value of having like a relationship with Integrity Medical? I mean, you know who we are. We're about training and compliance and all that. And you guys have been, like I said, have a relationship for many years now. Talk to me about what your thoughts are and the importance of having a good system. I mean, how does it impact, say, patient care outcomes? How does your software help with a positive outcome with a lab specimen? Kind of curious about that. What do you think?
That's a good question. Biggest thing would be accountability. These labs require accountability through the order creation all the way to when it's given to the final destination. Without a software that allows for continuous GPS tracking, visual proof of pickup, visual proof of delivery, it's picture taking, barcode scanning all throughout, geofencing. I don't know, are you familiar with geofencing at all?
A little bit.
Geofencing is huge in the medical courier world that I've seen, where drivers, instead of having to remember to mark themselves as arrive or depart, their device senses when they're at that driver's or the doctor's office, and automatically marks them as arrived, automatically marks them as depart. So on one hand, it takes responsibility off that driver. On the other hand, it adds accountability where now the driver isn't, let's say they're running a couple minutes late and they're 3 miles down the road. Rather than saying, I'm basically there, the geofence makes it so they can't mark themselves as arrived unless they are standing on that doorstep or in that doctor's office.
That's really important. In the lab industry, a lot of times, so geofencing gets rid of the he said, she said. Sometimes lab techs, sorry, but I love the clinical lab industry, but sometimes they'll try and pin it on the driver and say the driver never showed up. Yeah. The driver is emphatic that I absolutely was there. Geofencing takes away the he said, she said. The only questionable thing would be whether or not they checked the lockbox, unless they're supposed to scan a barcode inside the lockbox.
Yeah, location scanning.
Okay.
So location scanning, when a driver gets to a location, if there's a lockbox, you can make it so they cannot proceed with that order unless they scan the barcode, or unless they if there's not a barcode, they can take a picture of that lockbox. The he said, she said part is big. And in business, the truth is the end all be all. And we should all, you as an integrity medical training, key software systems, a courier, we should all care about the truth. And if we can ensure that what's happening in an order's life cycle is the truth via, like I was saying, GPS tracking, barcode scanning, picture taking, everybody ends up happier. The entire process is more efficient if the truth is tracked from the very beginning.
You mentioned HIPAA compliance. I wanted to talk for a second about whether or not the information is encrypted. When a driver scans something with his phone, it could be a picture, it could be a document, it could be a prescription. Talk to me about whether or not the data that goes on to key software system is encrypted.
So when a driver takes photos or scans documents, none of those images are stored as actual images. It's all hashed, meaning, if someone is on, bad actor gets access, God forbid, there are no images of, patient names, addresses like that on the labels. It's all hashed and encrypted.
Dave, I want to thank you. That's a great place to end. I appreciate Key Software and all you guys have done for us over the years. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, so those were some great interviews and just really kind of a sprinkling of what goes on at these conventions. You guys take the time to investigate and be a part. We're here at the CLDA conference. Next week, we're going to be speaking at Dayron Meyer's event in Houston, Texas. Now, again, this is probably dated. If you guys see this podcast 3 months from now, you won't know what we're talking about.
Right.
But in April, we're going to be attending the ECA, the Express Carriers Association event in Arlington, Texas. That's going to be huge, guys. That's always a great one, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And again, the value of being present and networking cannot be overstated, guys. It really is a great return on your investment.
Mm-hmm. So I look forward to editing all of this.
Yeah, Chris is going to go ahead and do our sponsorship in the studio.
Yep.
But again, we'll see you on the next podcast, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Ken with Integrity Medical Courier Training here.
And this is what's happening, right? So with such a serious subject, but he's able to inject humor. So it's in our best interest to invest not only in safety, but give some of those dividends back to the drivers.
I'm like, how do you start this medical carrier stuff? And nobody had a mentorship. Nobody told me what industry events to go through.
I was thinking I need a name for my first conference. And it just dawned on me, use the name that they keep calling me. And I was like, yeah, the Boss Maker Conference.
You're learning so many important things, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that sounds a bit expensive. I think I'll just train them myself. After all, this isn't rocket science.
And we have liftoff of Antares.